I don't see many roguelike dungeon crawlers these days, so I'm always willing to get my hands on the newest titles. However, using the phrase "get my hands on" might mean something different when it comes to D3 Publishers' newest game. I'm Azara Lopez and this is Noisy Pixel's review for Omega Labyrinth Life. Omega Labyrinth Life has players assume the role of Hinata, a transfer student at Bellefleur's Academy. The school is known for its ever-blooming garden of flowers that never seems to die or wilt. However, a curse spreads across the lands overnight and Hinata awakes in a field of dead flowers, and the blame is put on her. The rest of the story finds the cast attempting to bring the field of flowers back to its former glory. I ended up enjoying the story for what it was. In the beginning, Hinata just wanted to clear her name, but then she continued to help the girls because they became friends. The game's character growth comes from the students slowly putting their trust in Hinata as she restores the school back to greatness. It's a decent plot to send these girls on an adventure, and it's more than I expected. To clear Hinata's name, she'll need to seek out the spirits who will bring life back to the Field of Flowers. The dungeon layouts are what you'd expect from dungeon crawler RPGs. Players travel 4x4 until they get to a boss. Along the way, they'll pick up items, fight monsters, and gain levels. In typical roguelike fashion, levels reset each time you enter a dungeon, and dying means you'll lose anything you brought into the dungeon with you. The dungeon crawling in Omega Labyrinth Life is definitely where the game shines. The developer clearly knows how to make a balanced experience for players to feel empowered to a point, but then slowly increase the difficulty with a mix of tougher enemies. Thankfully, there are some nice systems that allow you to strengthen your weapons, but this means halting the story progression and spending time in dungeons, collecting items, and stocking up. What's interesting about Omega Labyrinth Life is that it allows you to roam around the school and interact with other students, which is extremely ambitious for this type of game. During these moments, you can plant and harvest flowers, as well as complete side quests. Players can also bloom girls, which has them tap illustrations of the girls in suggestive poses until they give you enough of this blooming liquid, which can be used to add buffs to the girls in dungeons. Suggestive minigames are what Omega Labyrinth Life is all about. Aside from blooming girls, players can appraise items by rubbing items between their breasts, go to hot springs and play around a bit, or even play rock, paper, scissors with the girls' breasts against each other. Over time, these minigames do lose their novelty, but can easily be skipped with the press of a button if the player wants to just get back to the RPG action. The issues come with the game having so much to do, but still feeling like it lacks substantial content outside of its dungeon crawling systems. Everything just stops being fun after a few pokey minigames, so I just ended up skipping everything. I also found the menus a little confusing as they change when you're in and out of dungeons. Still, the game offers some nice audio tracks filled with all the moans and screams that fans will love. I also enjoyed that the developer didn't make the dungeon designs overly complicated or too large, which made it far less taxing on my patience, especially in the later parts of the game. Omega Labyrinth Life isn't going to be for everyone, clearly, but what it does bring to the table is a decent roguelike dungeon crawler that we don't get very often. The story is lighthearted, but does offer its share of surprises and reveals, and the weapon upgrade system is kept simple and easy to manage. I found it easy to sink hours into the game, leveling up my equipment and blooming each girl without ever really finding a favorite. Oh, who am I kidding? Best girl is definitely Yuri. So know what you're getting yourself into with this game, and I'm sure you'll have a bit of fun with it. If you've never played a roguelike dungeon crawler before, then perhaps this game's lewdness is enough to convince you to check it out. Noisy Pixel is giving Omega Labyrinth Life a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.